Do you ever feel like you're not doing enough? Like everything you do is close to satisfactory but never sufficient? The truth is, I felt like this my whole life, and I think a lot of people have as well.
Enjoying making these videos recently, so if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe, because whenever that number goes up, it's just that little bit more encouragement. Yes! 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 Yeah! And make sure you like the video too, because again, encouragement and whatnot. I feel like I have to say these things because all YouTubers do, but genuinely it means a whole lot to me. Like if one person likes a video, that could make my entire day. So thank you for watching, and yeah.
It isn't neurotic to second guess our achievements, right? I mean, like, I used to wake up at 12 o'clock in the afternoon or even later, and nowadays I wake up more like 6 in the morning. But every time I wake up, I'm always like, God, I wish I could have woken up at 5 or 4, right? I mean, there's always more that we can do. Suppose we consider how long we have on this planet, which again is not something I normally like to do, but for argument's sake, let's do it. So I'm roughly 20 years old. I turned 20 a few months ago. Let's say I live to be 100 years old, which statistically is pretty generous, but let's just say that. That would give me roughly 700,800 hours of remaining life left, if we're going to set it to that, which sounds like a lot until you factor in how much of that time is spent sleeping. So I sleep about 8 hours a night, not always. Sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 7. Let's say, for generosity's sake, it was 6. So for every night for the rest of my life, I got 6 hours of sleep, okay? So if you do that, you multiply 6 times 365 days times 80 years, you get about 175,200 hours of sleeping time, of time spent in bed. So you subtract that from our previous amount. Now you're looking at about 525,600 hours of waking time. So it's kind of scary. It's always really terrifying to look at how long we have left, because the truth is that 525,600 hour number, that could easily be reduced if we started to factor further in how many hours a year I spend driving to work or brushing my teeth or washing the dishes or taking the trash out or watching TV, right? So it's like, we don't really know how long we have, honestly. And who knows? I mean, maybe by the year 2103, which is the projected date I've seemed to set as my expiration, they'll have already invented some kind of device or some way of uploading or downloading our consciousness into a computer, which could seemingly live forever. But if we live forever, I mean, if that number doesn't matter, what would be the point of doing anything? I mean, what would be the point of meeting new people or working on new projects if the people I meet will never be gone and the projects I work on will always be possible? I don't really know. I think the greatest torture you can inflict on another person would be to stick them in a confined, empty room for the rest of their life, which of course we already do to people. But there'd be a skylight in the center of the room, right, to remind you of the days passing. And of course, you'd feed this person 3 to 4 times a day, the recommended amount of time to go without eating. But on the wall, there'd be a clock, and it would start as soon as the prisoner entered. And every time they looked at that clock, they would see the exact amount of seconds they had before they died. So they would constantly be reminded of the time they were wasting, the life they were wasting, just by being there. The truth is, we're not doing enough. We're never doing enough. None of us are. And we never can, because there is no such thing as enough. I mean, you can always wake up earlier or work longer or harder or make more friends or have better conversations, right? But you can never get to that point when you don't have to, when everything you've done in your life equals to enough. And I think that's really beautiful, because it means we always have something to look forward to. And if nothing else, at least we'll get plenty of sleep.
I want to know what you think about this topic, particularly if you agree with me or if you disagree with me. And I want to know if you've ever experienced these kind of thoughts before, because I know this is something that has always troubled me, just this thought, this guilt that I'm never doing enough, that I'm really never enough. So yeah, please let me know, and make sure to subscribe for more depressing videos like this. I promise they won't all be depressing. I know it's been kind of a string recently,
But don't worry, there's some upbeat stuff coming. I'm going to watch more movies and talk about those. Hopefully they're not going to be depressing. Okay. And yeah, make sure to like too, because it just makes me feel great when I see that little like there. I'm like, oh my God, okay, I'm worth something. That's great. No, but thank you for watching, and you're enough, you know? Just remember that. All right.